Hello and welcome to another Euro Fantasy video. Today we're going to be going over my current draft in the game. Obviously we have just done a first draft a couple of days ago with the live stream that we done, but obviously we've had a couple changes since then. We've had some more news, some more team releases, and I thought I would just kind of go over the kind of changes I've made in my draft so far. So maybe I'll do a video of this once every week, or maybe once every 2 weeks or so, but I thought I would do one just to kind of show you where we're at. So I've got I'm just going to show the players kind of like one by one in terms of positions. So we are starting off in goals with Verbruggen and the debut. I don't know if it's the Booze or whatever his name is, but again, slight change from what we had in the stream. We've still got Verbruggen in here. Again, still think he's probably the best 4.5 mil option, at least for match day one. The team so far is just purely built for match day one because right now I'm still on the wildcard 2 and limitless 3 chip strategy, so we're building the team specifically for match day one. So I've got Verbruggen in goal. Again, 4.5 million, probably the best option. Playing against Poland, I've got a couple stats on the side here, so if you see me looking over to the side, that's why. I do think Verbruggen does start over Flecken. There is a bit of iffiness to who is going to be starting in goals. I do think Verbruggen is going to be taking the number one spot, but I don't think personally Poland have come up against anyone too great recently, and they haven't really been convincing in terms of the results. So Holland as well have kept 4 clean sheets in their last 5 games, which is another reason why I do think they are really good. We do have another Holland defender in here as well, so we are doubling up on the Netherlands defence. But again, 4 clean sheets in the last 5. That's with games against Germany, Scotland, Gibraltar, Ireland and Greece. So again, not amazing opponents. The game against Germany was the one where they didn't keep a clean sheet, but still definitely one to know. I think when you're looking at the kind of form Poland are in, I don't think they look amazing, and I do think for 4.5 million, Verbruggen does look pretty good. For the defence, we are switching things over. I did go with Debooz, actually. I didn't actually mention him. I've got him because I do think he starts over Gulashi in goals. He did start all the qualifying games. He's only 4 million as well, so I think he is probably the most nailed 4 million goalkeeper as it stands right now. So we're going to go for him in goals as well. In defence, we do have another couple of cheap options. We've got Face and we've got Mittelstadt, both at 4 million. Again, I think it's going to be really easy to be getting like cheap players in your team. If you're looking to do that full front 3 of expensive guys, I think it's going to be pretty easy to achieve that with the amount of good cheap players there is. So I've got Face in there, who again started all of the qualifying matches for Belgium. Do think he's nailed, and again cheapest defender in the game. In terms of stats, 6 ball recoveries in the qualifiers and 5 in the league for Leicester. So that's just average per game, so you're talking maybe 1 or 2 points on average at least from Face in the qualifiers in the league. And then obviously they're playing against Slovakia as well. Slovakia haven't had amazing opponents. They've played against the likes of Bosnia, Iceland and Luxembourg. Attacking wise, they don't look like too bad in recent games. Obviously that is with those more difficult opponents, but they did play against Portugal in the qualifiers, and they just lost 3-2 away from home, so they obviously took 2 goals off a pretty decent Portugal defence. Obviously maybe not a guaranteed clean sheet there for Belgium, but again, only 4 million, someone who's going to get ball recoveries is still pretty decent. Mittelstadt as well, another 4 million. I think he's going to be very popular when the deadline comes round. Someone who I do think looks pretty nailed on for left back. He does look like the favoured defender over Rom. And he looks pretty decent for attacking returns as well. He scored in Germany's most recent friendly against Holland, and he also has 2 goals and 4 assists in the Bundesliga for Stuttgart this season as well. So even at 4 million possible clean sheets, he does look pretty decent for attacking returns as well. De Lorenzo, another one who does look pretty decent. He's just as a good player for this kind of format. He's always really good in UCL fantasy, getting goals, getting assists, getting clean sheets. Albania, a pretty favourable fixture as well. And while Albania don't actually look too bad, obviously Albania finished top of their group in qualifying with Czech Republic and Poland in there as well, and they only conceded 4 goals in the whole thing. Well, that doesn't really matter too much for Di Lorenzo. It could be something to consider if you're looking at Italian attackers. Albania don't really concede too many goals, or at least they didn't throughout the European qualifying, but Di Lorenzo always does look like a pretty good option. Maatsen as well, someone I'm still favouring at left wing back to start over Blind for Holland. Again, someone who has been brilliant in UCL fantasy, picking up a lot of ball recoveries. I think it's 5.7 ball recoveries averaging in the UCL, and he's got 3 goals and 2 assists for Dortmund this season since he joined in January. Again, another 4.5 million defender who does look really nice. Cancelo as well, someone who's just always been good in fantasy. It's for Barcelona, he's been pretty good this season in UCL fantasy, and for Portugal he's been really good as well. I think it was 3 goals he scored in the qualifiers up against Czech Republic, who I just don't think really looked too great. Again, finishing behind Albania in that qualifying group that we just mentioned, and he's at 5.6 ball recoveries in the qualifying and the Nations League. So as well as being there for attacking returns and getting goals, obviously a possible clean sheet against Czech Republic, and he's still getting those ball recoveries as well. In midfield, we're going for Phil Foden off the bat. It's mainly because I've got the money available. I had 9 million in the bank for an attacker or midfielder, and I do think Foden looks like a pretty decent option. I did kind of want to double up on the England attack. I think they could do pretty well against Serbia. I do have Kane in there as well, which you are about to see. But Foden, again, someone who's probably who has had a very, very good season for Man City, and he is just a bit cheaper than Bellingham. I think he could do a bit better than Bellingham as well. I think Bellingham will play a bit more of a deeper role for England. Foden probably on the wing, so did want to get him in. We've got Gundogan as well, someone who's just going to be really a captain for the first day. Obviously I have Mittelstadt as well in there, but I think more of an attacking option is quite good. He also gets a lot of ball recoveries. Gundogan is 5.3 ball recoveries averaged in the Nations League and in the La Liga as well. Obviously he's the captain, so you're pretty much guaranteeing minutes for him, playing in a more attacking role, and he's the penalty taker as well, so someone who is just really pretty good for fantasy points. Got Jorginho in there as well, put him back in my team after taking him out in the stream a couple of days ago. Only 5 million, and I don't really know who is going to be the Italian penalty taker. It was announced a couple of months ago, I think it was at the end of last year, that Jorginho was going to be taken off the penalties for Italy after missing his last 4. So still iffy on who the penalty taker is going to be for Italy. I did think it would be Immobile, then he wasn't in the squad. Possibly Politano, who took a couple this season, again wasn't in the squad. So I did ask on Twitter to see who people would think the Italian penalty taker was going to be. Chiesa was named a few times, Pellegrini was named a few times, and then a couple of people did just say it would probably go back to Jorginho. So I've got him in there already. He's got 8 ball recoveries averaged in the qualifiers as well, and 6 in the Nations League. So I think even if he isn't on penalties for 5 million, you're getting someone who is going to be getting a lot of ball recoveries in the match as well. So I do think he is probably worth it, even if he isn't on the pens. But hopefully Italy do get a penalty in their friendlies, and we can decide who our penalty taker is going to be. Çalhanoğlu as well. I did want to get someone against Georgia. Georgia conceded 18 goals in their qualifiers in only 8 matches, so I did think a Turkey player was going to be good. Çalhanoğlu, obviously, with all the set pieces, is on the penalties, the free kicks and the corners as well. Did want to get someone in there for 6.5 million. I think he could be class. And then we've got Bruno Fernandes again, similar reasons to Cancelo, really good, and he's kind of my counter to not having Ronaldo in this team. Ronaldo obviously done really well in the qualifiers, 10 goals. Bruno's done pretty decent as well. I think what have we got, 6 goals and 7 assists in qualifying, and he also averaged 5.5 ball recoveries in the qualifiers as well. So as well as loads of goals, loads of assists, he's also getting ball recoveries, and he's also going to be on the penalties if Ronaldo doesn't play. Obviously he's getting old now. Ramos is there on the bench, who could start in a couple of games, but also is more likely to come off the bench quite often. So if a late penalty comes up for Portugal, it's more than likely going to be Bruno that takes it. And then finally we have the front 3. Not really too much to go on about these guys. Obviously Kane against Serbia is a great fixture, Mbappe against Austria another great fixture, and Lukaku against Slovakia. So 3 players that don't really need much explanation. Everyone knows how good they are. I do feel like I'm missing out a bit though with a lot of the the cheaper guys in terms of striker, like Dovbyk looks like a really good option. Morata as well looks like a pretty decent option. So it's quite tough in terms of the strikers. Mainly Dovbyk I'm quite worried about. He would be my pick if I was to go for the 2 expensive strikers and 1 cheap striker. Playing against Romania could be quite decent. Lukaku as well is playing in the same day as Mbappe, so if anyone was going to come out, it probably would be Lukaku, because I'm not going to be captaining him. Obviously you are going to want a captaincy on each day, which I'm actually going to go look at right now, so let me quickly swap the screens. So here we've got the dates up then. We've got obviously looking for a captaincy for each day is just the best option, because if say your captain fails, for example, I've got Gundogan here. If he fails, I can go to someone on the 15th of June. If that fails, obviously you've got someone on the 16th of June, and the 17th of June, and the 18th of June. So having 5 good captaincies is always a good idea. Obviously with Lukaku and Mbappe playing on the same day here, I'm kind of missing out on a captaincy opportunity, so I could possibly look at getting rid of Lukaku and going somewhere else. Obviously I've got Bruno here as a captaincy on the 18th of June, so there's no real need to get someone like Ronaldo in here, but I could always go for someone like Dovbyk, just to kind of free up some more budget if I was looking to maybe upgrade Jorginho, or anyone else in the team. I suppose if maybe Maatsen isn't going to start, I can always downgrade Lukaku to someone like Dovbyk, and save some money there. I definitely feel like I'm still missing out on a couple of players though. Obviously I think it's probably a better thing. It means that more players or more teams are going to be a lot more spread out. It would obviously be a bit boring if everyone can add the same team, but you're looking at the defence and you're missing out on the likes of Grimaldo, Theo Hernandez, Melee as well for Denmark is another one. That's 3 defenders that I think could be very popular, and it's 3 guys who have not got in the team. Midfield as well, you've got the likes of Szoboszlai, Xavi Simons, obviously with Holland playing against Poland. I don't have any of those attackers in there. Up front again, already mentioned Dovbyk, already mentioned Ronaldo, players that are probably going to be pretty popular that I don't have. But this is the team for now. Quite happy with this. Did have a more of a look at the ball recoveries, at the stats and stuff, and this is kind of what I've been happy with. Obviously the likes of Maatsen and stuff might not be playing, so this team definitely won't be final by the time the deadline comes round. But I thought I'd just show off my current draft, and let me know down in the comments if you agree with it, if you think anyone is definitely not going to play, if you think anyone's definitely not going to do quite well, and let me know who you think is going to take penalties for Italy as well, because I haven't had a definitive answer on it yet and I'm not really too sure where that's going to go. So let me know down in the comments. Once again, if you enjoyed, make sure to like the video as well, and I'll see you all in the next one.